The knock was frantic, 3 sharp raps that cut through the silence of midnight. Daniel Carter, a 36-year-old single dad, froze halfway to the kitchen. His daughter slept upstairs, the old house creaking under the sudden stillness. He opened the door and his breath stopped. A young woman, maybe mid-20s, stood trembling. Heavy iron chains dangled from her wrists, and a note, pinned to her coat with a rusted safety pin, fluttered in the wind. Her lips quivered, eyes wide with terror, yet she whispered only one word: help. Before we dive in, drop a comment with where you're watching from, and don't forget to hit subscribe for more videos like this. Let's begin. **** Daniel's gut clenched. He yanked the porch light higher, scanning the empty street. Nobody, no footsteps. Retreating, no idling car, just her, broken and bound like some abandoned secret. What the hell, who did this to you? He rasped, gripping her shoulder gently. She flinched as if his touch burned. Her gaze flicked past him toward the staircase visible inside. Please, don't call the cops. Just get these off. Daniel's heart hammered. As a father, every instinct screamed danger, yet he saw it, the raw desperation, the kind he'd once felt when his wife passed and the world offered him no lifeline. He glanced upstairs, where his daughter's nightlight glowed. He couldn't ignore this. "Stranger, all right," he said firmly, ushering her inside. "Come on, my kid's asleep, so keep quiet." The chains rattled against the hardwood floor as she stumbled in, pale and trembling. Daniel grabbed a toolbox from the laundry room, knelt beside her, and began working at the rusted links. The note caught his eye. Torn paper, smeared ink. He pulled it free, heart thudding as he read aloud, "Property. Do not return. She's marked." The words made his stomach twist. Property? He muttered, "What the hell does that mean?" The woman's face broke, eyes brimming, jaw trembling. "It means they'll come looking for me, and if they find me here, you and your daughter—" "Stop," Daniel cut in sharply, his voice low but resolute. "Nobody's laying a hand on my little girl, or you." The clink of metal snapped the tension. The last chain fell free. She cradled her wrists, red and raw, whispering, "Thank you." Daniel studied her. He didn't know her name, didn't know her story. But something inside him knew this night wasn't coincidence. It was the start of something that would test everything he thought he could handle. "Start talking," he said, pulling a blanket around her shoulders. "Because until I know why someone chained you up and dumped you here, you're not stepping 1 foot out that door." Her lips parted. She drew in a shaky breath, and when she spoke, the truth began unraveling in a way Daniel never could have. Imagine ****. Her hands shook as she pulled the blanket tighter around herself. For a moment, she just sat there on Daniel's worn leather couch, breathing shallowly like someone relearning how to exist. Daniel leaned forward in the chair across from her, elbows braced on his knees, waiting. "What's your name?" he asked gently. Her eyes darted to the floor. "Emily. Emily Price." "Emily," he repeated slowly, grounding himself in the word. "All right, now, Emily, tell me what happened. Who did this to you?" Her throat bobbed as she swallowed. But no words came. Just silence, and the faint clink of the chains Daniel hadn't yet gathered off the floor. His patience thinned. His daughter was asleep upstairs, his front door still ajar, and a woman with raw, shackled wrists was sitting in his living room. "Emily." His tone was firmer now, protective. "You knocked on my door in the middle of the night wearing chains and a note that called you someone's property. You need to talk, because if somebody's coming, I need to be ready." Finally her lips parted. "I was taken," she whispered. "Months ago. I thought I'd never get out." Daniel's heart stuttered. He ran a hand down his face, fighting the surge of rage. He wanted details, but the tremble in her voice warned him she was already on the edge of collapse. Taken by who? He pressed, quieter this time. Emily's eyes darted toward the note lying on the table. A man who thinks he owns people. He runs. It's like a ring. Girls disappear, and nobody looks. He keeps us in this old farmhouse, locked up like animals. Her words were shards of glass, slicing the calm of Daniel's home to ribbons. Jesus Christ, he muttered. How'd you get out? Emily blinked hard, tears cutting lines down her cheeks. A guard got sloppy. He left the chain loose. After bringing food, I waited until everyone was asleep. And I ran. I've been walking for hours. I saw your porch light. Her shoulders shook. I didn't even know if you'd help me. Most people would slam the door and call the cops. Daniel thought about it. A safer man would have called. A smarter man, maybe. But he remembered, too. Vividly the feeling of being dismissed, abandoned, when his wife died and people pitied but never helped. He wasn't about to turn away someone begging for mercy. You picked the right door, he said firmly. Emily's chin trembled. You don't get it. If he finds me, if he finds out you helped, Daniel cut her off with a sharp gesture. Emily, look at me. She hesitated, then lifted her gaze. His eyes burned steady, a quiet storm. I don't scare easy. And I don't let people hurt what's under my roof. You're safe here, understand? The fight in her collapsed. She nodded, covering her face with her hands, sobbing into them. Daniel sat back, trying to think. Call the police? It seemed obvious. But her words rang in his head. Girls disappear, and nobody looks. He'd heard stories, reports that went nowhere. Corruption, money moving in the shadows. What if she was right? What if calling meant sending her back into the hands of the very people she'd run from? His daughter's voice drifted down the stairs then, soft and sleepy. Dad? Daniel bolted up. Emily's wide eyes snapped too. The staircase. It's okay, he murmured quickly. Stay here. He hurried to meet his little girl halfway. Sarah, 8 years old with tangled blonde hair and a teddy bear dragging from her hand, blinked at him. Who's crying? Daniel crouched, brushing hair from her face. Just someone who needed help tonight, honey. Go back to bed. Daddy's got it handled. Her brow furrowed, but she trusted him enough to nod, padding back upstairs. He waited. Until her door clicked shut before returning to the living room. Emily was sitting stiffly, her eyes shining. You have a daughter? Yeah, he sat again, voice steady. Which is why I take threats real serious. So if this man or anyone comes looking, I'll be ready. Emily's lips trembled. You don't know him. He's powerful. He's untouchable. Daniel let out a bitter laugh. People said the same about my old boss when he tried to cheat me out of my pension. Guess what? He wasn't untouchable either. Something flickered in Emily's expression, hope, fragile and reluctant. He leaned closer. So here's the deal, you rest tonight. Tomorrow we figure this out. I don't care if I have to march down to that farmhouse myself. Nobody chains a woman up like a dog, not in my town. Her breath hitched. Why are you being this kind to me? You don't even know me. Daniel's jaw tightened. He thought of his late wife, the way cancer had stolen her strength, and how strangers had looked away when he needed help carrying her to appointments. He thought of Sarah and what kind of world he wanted her to grow up in. Because, he said simply, if it were Sarah at someone else's door one day, I'd pray they'd do the same. Emily broke then, full sobs shaking her frame. But under the tears, Daniel saw it, the faintest spark of trust. He stayed there until her breathing steadied, until exhaustion finally dragged her under. He pulled the blanket higher, gathered the chains off the floor, and locked them in his shed out back. The night stretched long, but Daniel didn't sleep. He sat in the recliner near the door, shotgun across his lap, staring into the dark. He wasn't naive trouble would come. The kind that didn't knock politely, but when it did, he'd be ready. And he had a sinking feeling that Emily's story was only the beginning of something much bigger, something that could either destroy his quiet life or give it a meaning he hadn't felt in years. The knock didn't come gently this time. It was thunder, 3 brutal pounds that rattled the thin wooden door, just as dawn broke across the horizon. Daniel's eyes snapped open where he'd dozed in the recliner, shotgun still across his lap. Emily shot upright from the couch, hair tangled, fear blazing across her face. "It's them," she whispered, voice thin as glass. Daniel held up a hand, his jaw tight. "Stay down, don't make a sound." The pounding came again, louder. A man's voice followed, sharp and taunting. "We know she's in there. Open up, Carter. Make this easy." Daniel froze. They knew his name, which meant whoever Emily ran from had reached deep reach. "Dad?" Sarah's soft voice floated from the top of the stairs. Her tiny hand clutched the railing, teddy bear dangling. Daniel's chest squeezed. "Back in your room, Sarah, now." His tone left no room for argument. She retreated, wide-eyed, the door clicking shut. Emily was trembling. "Daniel, please. You don't understand what he'll do. If you fight him, he'll—" "Emily," Daniel cut her off, voice low but iron. "He's not laying a finger on you, or my daughter." The lock groaned under another violent hit. Daniel rose, gripping the shotgun tight. He hadn't wanted this. He wasn't reckless. But sometimes a man had to decide what kind of father he wanted to be remembered, as the one who cowered, or the one who stood. He swung the door open. 2 men stood on the porch, both thick-necked, dressed in black jackets. The taller one smirked. "Morning, Carter. You've got something that doesn't belong to you." Daniel's grip didn't waver. "Funny. Looked like a human being to me, not property." The smirk faltered. "You're making a mistake. She's marked." Daniel's eyes hardened. "So, was my wife marked by cancer? Didn't stop me from fighting every damn day for her. You think some punk with a ring of thugs scares me more than that?" The man sneered. "You can't protect her. You'll lose your kid over this." Daniel's voice turned to steel. "Say my daughter's name, and you won't take another breath." For a tense beat, silence burned between them. Then the shorter thug shifted uneasily. "Boss said she'd run." "But we didn't think." "Shut up," the taller snapped, glaring. He studied Daniel, eyes narrowing, then spat to the side. "This ain't over." They backed off, retreating to a dark SUV idling at the curb. Tires screeched, and the vehicle tore away. Daniel shut the door with a slam, chest heaving. Emily collapsed into sobs, hands shaking against her face. "They'll come back," she whispered. "You don't know how far this goes." Daniel set the shotgun aside, kneeling in front of her. His hands gripped her shoulders firmly. "Then we don't wait for them. We go to someone who can hit back." Her eyes widened. "The police?" "I told you, he pays them. Not just police," Daniel interrupted. "I know a guy, old buddy from the Marines, works federal now. Doesn't take bribes, doesn't look away. If anyone can crack this wide open, it's him." Emily stared at him like hope was something foreign, something dangerous to believe. You'd risk that for me?" He held her gaze steady. "For you, for every girl he's got chained up. For Sarah, because I'll be damned if my daughter grows up in a world where this kind of evil wins." Her tears broke again, but this time they weren't just from fear. Hours later, Daniel's old pickup rumbled down the highway, Emily tucked safely in the passenger seat, Sarah asleep in the back. Every mile carried them closer to the contact. Who could blow the lid off everything she'd suffered? Emily's voice was small when she finally spoke. "No one's ever fought for me before." Daniel's hands tightened on the wheel. "Then let this be the first time. Because from now on, you're not just someone they left on a porch with chains. You're a survivor. And survivors get to write the ending." She looked at him, truly looked, and for the first time since arriving at his door, she believed him. And though danger still loomed, though war waited ahead, in that battered truck, Emily felt something she hadn't in years. Safe. And Daniel, staring at the open road, felt something too. Purpose. The kind of purpose a man doesn't stumble into, but fights for. And fight, he knew, was exactly what he was about to do.